Section 2 VLR. Let's have a look at the breakup of the section and then look at solving the questions. The pattern of this paper is similar to that has been seen in the last couple of years of CAT, so we don't need to worry about it. Let's just go to the questions. Question 31, fill in the blanks. Let's see the statement. Yet tied to these moments of nightmare is the dash of a lady who is the virgin and all of the beloveds of courtly love, and who is also associated with gardens and fertility and a sort of dash community. Okay? Let's go through the statement again. The statement starts with yet tied to these moments of nightmare. Something negative. The nightmare is not positive. Yet tied to these moments of negativity is some positivity. So this word has to be a positive word. Let's look at choices and try to eliminate on the basis of the first word. Now choice A and B have to be incorrect because extirpation and extermination, both of them mean to destroy. So destruction cannot be the word out here because it has to be a positive word. To invoke is to call upon, and similarly evocation, not sure. Okay. So while I am very sure that A and B are incorrect because this has to be a positive word, while extermination and extirpation, both of them are negative words meaning to destroy, which does not fit in. I am not sure about choice C and D. Let's look at the second statement now. Okay. Rather the second blank. Who's the virgin and all of the beloveds of courtly love, and who's also associated with gardens and fertility and a sort of symbolic community or organic community. Not sure about it. Since I was not sure about it, I left this question unanswered. Okay. Because there's no point marking an answer and getting a negative when you're not sure about the answer in English. The rule which I follow is when in doubt, leave the question. Okay. Later on, while going through the explanation, I realized that there's one, I need to understand these two words better, invocation and evocation, and I should have picked up the word organic, because it is connected with gardens and fertility, and a sort of organic community made more sense than symbolic community. The correct answer is D, but unfortunately I could not pick it up and I left this question unanswered, but it has given me room for revision. It has told me these two words I need to focus on and make sure I don't miss them out in future. Let's move to the next question now. Question 32, a question of parajumbles. Let's go through the statements. Stanine promises to change all that. Stanine promises to change all that. So something it is promising to change. Since it is talking about all that, that means something has been talked about before, which means A is unlikely to be an opening statement. So opening statement unlikely. So any choice, yes, choice B has A. So I will say choice B is unlikely to be correct. I am just putting a small question mark, but most probably statement A is not going to be the opening statement. Statement B, stanine is an insulator on the inside and the conductor on the outside. Okay. Statement C, this resistance, again the word this resistance means something has been, resistance should have been mentioned somewhere earlier or in one of the earlier statements. Okay, so this resistance generates heat, so electronics must be cooled to stop them from melting. Statement D, however in most materials the electrons are held up by impurities and other features that give rise to resistance, and this resistance generates heat which needs to be cooled. So DC has to be a combination. DC, a mandatory pair, is definitely there. Go to the choices. Choice A is incorrect. Choice B has DC, but as I said, I have my doubts, so I am not eliminating but not accepting it completely. Choice C again has DC. Choice D has DC. Okay, so we need to see whether DC needs to be followed with E or A. We'll come to that later. Let's go to statement E. Materials conduct electricity when electrons flow through them. Okay. So we are left with choice C and D and maybe B. And what is the difference? Choice C says DCA and choice B and the choice D say DCE. So effectively this boils down to saying, should DCE be the right combination or is DCA the right combination? Let's read both of them. D, again it said, talked about the electrons held up which gives rise to resistance. This resistance generates heat which must be cooled to stop them from melting. Stanine promises to change all that. This all that could be referring to the fact that they need to be cooled to stop from melting. So DCA appears to be correct. Let's check out DCE. How when most electrons are held up, etc., gives rise to resistance. C stops them from melting. E materials conduct electricity when electrons flow through them. E does not make sense, so DCE is incorrect. Correct answer has to be DCA. So whichever choice had DCA has to be correct. So choice B is DCE, choice D is DCE, incorrect. This again is incorrect, which was what Ansh was initially. Correct answer, choice C. And that we have got on the basis of just identifying DCA. But before you mark the answer, you should always read the entire thing to make sure you have not made anything, you have not understood things incorrectly. So just to be safe, BE, Chinese insulator inside, conductor outside. E, materials conduct electricity when electrons flow through them. Okay. However, in most materials, electrons are held up by impurities. DCA, yeah. So choice C is the correct answer. Let's move to the next question, question 33. Another question of parajumbles. Statement A, which I didn't. Okay. Statement B, they had me bandaged. Someone had him bandaged or her bandaged and delivered to Royal United A&E before I knew where I was. Okay. Statement C, evidently concussed, I was of some concern. Statement D, the security guys were great. There has to be some people. The security guys could be those people. Okay, so the security guys were great. They had me bandaged and delivered to Royal United A&E before I knew where I was. D, B as a mandatory pair appears to be okay. Let's just do statement E also. I couldn't even remember the name or the face of my best friend in Bath. So D, B has to be definitely correct. The security guys were great. They had me bandaged and delivered to Royal United A&E before I knew where I was. So D, B statement, choice A is incorrect. Choice B is incorrect because DB are not together. DB are here together. DB are here together. Okay. Let's look at the other statements. Okay. So effectively for me this now means DBA or should it be CDB? So let's look at DBA. The security guys were great. They had me bandaged before I knew where I was, which I didn't. So I did not know. So DBA appears to be correct. Okay. What about the other one? ACDB. CDB, evidently concussed, I was of some concern. Evidently concussed, I was of some concerns. The security guys were great. There's connectivity is missing between C and D. So because C and D connectivity is missing, so this cannot be the right answer. So the answer is most likely to be DBAEC. Let's read these statements and then confirm. The security guys were great. They had me bandaged and delivered to Royal United A&E before I knew where I was, which I didn't. Okay, so I knew before I knew, which I didn't. E, I couldn't even remember. Not only did I know where I was, I couldn't even remember the name or the face of my best friend in Bath. Evidently concussed, I was of some concern. Correct answer, choice C. Okay. Let's move to the next question now. Question 34. 4 sentences are given below. Okay, so there's a parajumble in which 4 statements are given and 1 statement does not fit the para and has to be eliminated. Let's go through the statements. The concept is broadly based on concept of island biogeography, which is an assumptional framework for understanding and explaining the dynamics and distribution of wildlife in remnants of habitat. Okay. Statement B, the concept of landscape connectivity for safe movement and migration of wildlife derives from pragmatic knowledge of years of study and management of wildlife populations. Statement C, there are actually different habitat patterns and land configurations that ensure favorable ecology for faunal species, communities and ecological processes, including predator, prey relationship, nutrient and hydrological cycles and so on. Okay. Statement D, systematic studies of habitat fragmentation have recommended proper land use because fragments connected by a linkage of similar suitable habitats are likely to have greater conservation value than isolated fragments of smaller size. Now when I look at this habitat fragmentation or connecting smaller fragments to make a bigger fragment makes sense. So that is the thing which I am looking for now in the statements. Statement A, it also talking about that fragments and connecting. Concept is broadly based on biogeography, which is assumption framework. Dynamics of distribution of wildlife in remnants of habitat. Okay. Concept of landscape connectivity, safe movement, migration, etc. So B and A are connected. Similarly, when I look at C and D, D appears to be connected to B and A. B, A and D, all three of them seem to be connected because all of them are talking of similar thing. C is going a level above and talking about a much bigger thing. So in terms of scope, C is much higher than A, B or D. A or B or D have a narrow scope. So which means C is unlikely to be connected to the other three, and hence C is the odd man out, or C is the correct answer. Let's move to the next question now. Question 35. Statement question 35. Again a similar question to the previous one, which means identify the statement which does not fit into the paragraph. Statement A. China takes India more seriously when the latter is on good terms with the US. Okay. Statement B. That also happens to be the yardstick by which most Indians would measure success of their country. Okay. Statement C. As many third country China observers have noted, Beijing is most nervous about India when it seems the latter combines economic growth with political freedom, but ultimately it is really about what India does at home. Okay. Now let's look at statement B. It starts by saying that also happens to be the yardstick. So what is the yardstick by which Indians would measure the success of their country? Will it be China taking India more seriously when India is in good terms with US? Maybe, but unlikely. Statement C. When it seems that latter combines economic growth with political freedom. Economic growth with political freedom is likely to be the yardstick by which you measure the success of your country. So I would say B and C have to be definitely a part of the same paragraph. Okay. What about A and D? D says, but ultimately it's really about what India does at home. Choice A. China takes India more seriously when the latter is on good terms with the US. Again, it is changing the scope. This is changing the scope of the passage, and hence this should not be the answer. And statement D again gets connected. Okay. Statement D gets connected to B and D because it again talks about it is really about what India does at home. So its success is a function of what it does at home. Okay. So the political freedom, economic growth, etc. So B, C and D appear to be connected. A is a different scope and A should be the correct answer. Questions 36 to 39 RC passage. I am sure most of you have found it easy to read. A current affairs kind of a passage, the kind of passage which was in vogue in terms of current affairs in the last couple of years, about corruption, about the bureaucracy, about politicians, about the misuse of powers by CBI and so on and so forth. Let's go through the questions. Question 36. Which of the following best explains what people in high places are worried about? That CBI officials will misuse their power for personal vendetta? No. B. That concession they are used to will be withdrawn? Yes, this is what the passage talks about. Let's go back to the passage and see where specifically does it talk about this issue. Yeah, the first page, the second paragraph. The system separates chaff from the wheat and then opts for the chaff. Look at the last part of this. Mr. Gandhi seems to have got it all wrong. It is not the high-handedness of CBI or for that matter any police force that people in high places are worried about. It is about the threat of their privilege which is the real issue. That the high and mighty are worried that the privileges, the benefits they are used to will be taken away. And please remember, this is question has to be answered keeping in mind what the author feels. And as per the author, the concession they are used to will be withdrawn is the biggest fear, and hence people in high places are worried. In any case, let's go to the other choice also. Choice C, reluctance of CBI officers in taking action against those who hold positions in power. If the CBI officers are reluctant, then the people who hold positions of power, who are in high places, will not have a problem. So C cannot be the answer, and neither is D. CBI is not free from corruption, so it will get modeled, so it will be taken care of. The issue here is, why are the people in high places worried? As per the author, they are worried because they think the privileges, the benefits that they are used to will be taken away. Question 37. According to the passage, which of the options would fall under the category of dichotomy of distinction? Now, what was dichotomy of distinction? Let's go back to the passage and identify where it was. It was in the beginning of the passage or somewhere in the middle of the passage. Okay, and then we will see what it means and how and which of the following should be the answer, correct answer choice. Yes, the first paragraph on this page. He is in a boat which the CBI cannot rock. The CBI practices the dichotomy of distinction with panache. Put on trial the man who supposedly took a bribe on behalf of the railway minister but spared the railway minister. So the person who takes bribe on behalf of the railway minister is punished or is put on trial, while the railway minister himself is not even reprimanded. So dichotomy of distinction is very clearly defined out here, and this is what we need to see among the choices. A high profile minister, choice A, a high profile minister being investigated for massive scam? No. As per dichotomy of distinction, the high profile minister would not be investigated, someone subordinate, some junior person would be investigated. So choice A cannot be the right answer. Choice B, a chief minister being brought to book for rupees 1000 crore fodder scam that he was found to be involved in. No, this is again similar to choice A. There is not dichotomy of distinction, this is exactly the opposite. Choice C, a manager who knew about the misappropriation of funds by his subordinate being let off the hook. Yes, this makes sense. The subordinate is punished, the senior person is not looked at. This is nothing but dichotomy of distinction. So choice C could be the answer. Let's verify choice D also. The Prime Minister solely being held responsible for scam, while a group of subaltern ministers who executed the scam are spared. Dichotomy of distinction will be exactly opposite of this. So this is the incorrect answer because this is opposite of dichotomy of distinction. Question 38. Which of the options is closest to author's view on the proposed exemption for policymakers from the Prevention of Corruption Act? This is mentioned in the last paragraph. Let's go back to the passage and quickly run through the last paragraph all over again. He claimed exemption for policymakers. The Prime Minister claimed exemption for policymakers from being made accountable in the Prevention of Corruption Act for policy decision. There could not be more disingenuous plea for exceptionalism. So first of all, the author does not agree with this exemption for policymakers at all. It is a plea to be categorized as a special class of citizens. After all, who makes policy? Not the legislator, not the judges, not the police officers. It is the government on the advice of top bureaucrats. So all they have to do is to invoke the magic word policy, and the loss of 1.76 lakh crores of rupees from the Indian taxpayers' money could be written off. So the author's view is there should not be any exceptions for policymakers. They should in fact be held accountable for their policies. Let's go to the choices now. Choice A, a plea for exception is harmful to the democratic functioning of the country. Yes, this is what the author talks about, but let's go through the other choices. Choice B, in order to be effective, policymakers be exempted. No, the author is clear. The policymakers have to be held accountable for their acts. So choice B is definitely incorrect. Choice C, it is ironical that policymakers themselves seek exemption. No. Nowhere in the passage has it been said that this is what the author believes. So, and we are looking at closest to author's views. Choice A at this point of time seems to be the best. Choice D, policies are rendered irrelevant when policymakers seek exemption. No, again, it is out of context. C and D are significantly out of context. Choice A is the correct answer. That the plea for exemption is harmful for the democratic functioning of the country. Let's go to the last question of this passage. Which of the following best describes the style that the author follows in the passage? Choice A, rhetorical, B is argumentative, C analytical, D investigative. Now in the passage, the author has a point of view. The point of view is that the Prevention of Corruption Act should be applied, policymakers should not be given any exemption, and so on and so forth. So he's got a point of view and he's arguing in favor of that point of view, which is why it should be argumentative. In fact, the other C can also be very easily ruled out. It cannot be investigative. He is not investigated and he is not presenting facts based on his investigation and so on. So choice D cannot be the answer. Again, he is not looking at all aspects of an issue. Analytical would have been fine. He was looking at all sides of the issue. He has got a point of view and he is sticking to it. So analytical again cannot be right. Rhetorical again, the emotional pitch is missing. He has a view and he's hammering that in. So again, rhetorical is incorrect. The correct answer is argumentative. I'm reasonably sure that most of you would have got 3 out of 4 questions right. Easy passage to read, easy questions. Most of them are by and large factual. Only question 39 might have been an issue, but hopefully you have got the other 3 right. Questions 40 to 42. Set of LR. 11 players of GNC team A to K were standing in a row for group photograph after winning the Faltu Cricket Championship 2014. It is also known that Diljit is in the center. Then we have other pieces of data. I have already made the blank format, so let's just go through the data and start filling up that format. So there are 11 people standing in the row, so we have 11 positions available. Diljit was standing at the center. Great. So Diljit is standing in the center is the first thing we have. Gopi was 4th to the right of Akram, who was not standing next to Bilal or Farhan. So Gopi is 4th to the right of Akram. So that means there are 3 positions which are vacant between them. Okay. And Akram is not standing next to Bilal or Farhan. So Bilal or Farhan, Akram is not possible. Either here or here. Okay. So this case is not possible. Statement 3. Jacob was standing to the left of Kamal, to the right of Iqbal. Jacob is standing to the left of Kamal. Jacob is standing to the left of Kamal, but to the right of Iqbal. Now please note the question does not say immediately left. So it is possible that there could be people between Iqbal Jacob and Jacob Kamal. Statement 4. Enrique was standing to the left of Gopi. Enrique is standing to the left of Gopi, but to the right of Akram. So AEG is a combination. Now just combine that with statement 2. That means Enrique has to be in one of these 3 positions. Okay. But we will come to that later. Statement 5. Exactly 3 players were standing between Enrique and Chandu. Now exactly 3 players were standing between Enrique and Chandu. So Enrique 1, 2, 3 and then Chandu. But it could be Chandu here and Enrique here. We don't know which of the 2 cases will be possible. Statement 6. Farhan was the only player standing next to Himesh. That means Himesh has to be at a corner. Because only if you are at the corner, which means position 1 or position 11, will you have one person standing next to you. Okay. Statement 7. Chandu was not standing next to Bilal. Okay, so B and C as a combination is not possible. Who was standing to the left of Himesh? Bilal is standing to the left of Himesh. If Himesh is at position 1, then there cannot be any person to his left. So Himesh cannot be at position 1 since Himesh is at the corner. The only other position available to him is 11. So Himesh has to be at 11. Farhan has to be at position 10. So we have taken care of statement 6 also and partly of statement 7 also. Bilal and Farhan were equidistant from Diljit. Okay. So Bilal and Farhan are equidistant from Diljit. So this is Diljit is 6 and position 10. So plus 4 positions. So minus 4. So Bilal should be at position 2. So in the first round of reading, we have been able to accommodate 4 people: Bilal, Diljit, Farhan and Himesh in their specific positions. Okay. And so let's go through that statements once again and see who are the other people we can accommodate. My starting point is here actually, statement 2. My starting point is statement 2. Akram and Gopi, there's a gap of 3 people between them. And the second thing which we have with respect to Akram is that neither Bilal nor Farhan can be next to Akram. Okay. That means Akram cannot be in position 1, cannot be in position 2, position 3, because both of them, Akram will be next to Bilal. So Akram can be in position 4, He could even be in position 5. Okay. So if Akram is in position 4, Gopi will be in 3 places between them are have to be vacant, Gopi will be in position 8. And if Akram is in position 5, Gopi will be in position 9. Now we know that E has to be somewhere between Akram and Gopi. E has to be between Akram and Gopi. So that means E has to be, Enrique has to be, if we go by the top 1 position, Enrique has to be, can be either in position 5 or in position 7. Okay. If Enrique is in position 5, let's put it this way, if Enrique is in position 5, Chandu could be to the left 3 positions vacant. That means Chandu will be then in 1. But Chandu in 1 is not possible because B and C, Bilal and Chandu cannot be together. So to the left is not possible. Chandu to the right, that means 3 positions vacant, 5, 3, 8 and position 9. Yes, Chandu can be in 9. Is there any problem with C and F being together? No, there is no problem with C, F and being together. So this is one combination. Similarly, Chandu could be in position 6, position 7. 6 is not possible, 6 is already occupied by Daljit. If Enrique is in position 7, then Chandu 3 positions to the right is not possible because 8, 9, 10, 11 is already occupied by H. What about to the left? E. If Enrique is 7, 3 positions to the left and then C out here. But Bilal and Chandu cannot be together, so this combination is not possible. So the combination which is possible is Enrique out here and Chandu out here. This is one possible combination with us. Similarly, let's look at the lower combination where Akram is in position 5 and Gopi is in position 9. Again the same thing, Enrique has to be between Akram and Gopi. So Enrique can have a position of 7 at position 7 or he could be at position 8. Okay. 6 in any case is occupied by Daljit. So let's look at position 8. If Enrique is in position 8, Chandu and Enrique there is a gap of 3 people, so Chandu cannot be to the right because to the right would be in position 12, not possible. What about to the left? So if it's 8, 3 positions vacant, then that means Chandu will be in position 4. It is possible because there is no conflict with, there is a conflict only with B and position 4 does not impact it. What if Enrique is in position 7? Again, if Enrique is in position 7, Chandu cannot be in 10 or 11. So to the right is not possible. What about to the left? Then he will have to be in position 3. But Chandu in position 3 is not possible because he will be next to Bilal. So this is not possible. And hence Enrique is also not possible, position 7. So effectively the combination which we are getting out here is, let me put here A, let me put here the top one, E, G and C, and let me put D, F, H and B, and let me copy this particular combination in the lower table. So here we are getting Chandu in position 4 and Enrique in position 8. Okay. Let me just clean up the slide a little so that we don't have too much confusion out here. Okay, so I've cleaned the slide, but I think I've forgotten to mark, put the position, yes, A and G, 1, 2, 3, G. So these are the positions which we have been able to get. The 3 out of 11, 8 positions we have put in. Anything which we have missed out? Yes, we have not put in I, J, K. I has to be to the left of J, has to be to the left of K. So if I look at this, I, J, K. I, J, K. So two different combinations what we have come out with. Let's go to the questions and get the answers. How many players were standing between A and K? Akram and Kamal, how many players are standing? First case, A and K. So there are 2 players standing out here. And in the second case, 5 and 7, 1 person standing. So it is either 2 or 1. That means choice D. Question 40, the correct answer is either choice B or C. Next question. If Akram and Diljit were not standing next to each other, so the condition is Akram and Diljit were not standing next to each other. So we need to, out of the 2 combinations we have, we need to see the combination in which the 2 are not together. Then who's standing to the immediate left of Daljit. So A and D are not standing each other. Who's standing to the immediate left of Daljit? So A and D not standing next to each other. Yes, they are not standing. In the second case, A and D are standing. So this combination we will not look for question 41. But A and D are not standing next to each other. The person standing immediate left of D is E on Enrique. So correct answer choice A. Last question. For how many players could the exact position be determined? Let's go and check out the table again. We have two combinations, so let's check out for how many players the position is same in both the cases. We need to see which position have the same person in each one of them. So statement, so position 1, both of them have I, 2 also, 3 also. Position 4, I have a A in one and C in the other. Position 5, again E and A. Position 6 is fine, both of them have D. Position 7, K. Position 8 is G and E, so again not the same person. Position 9, again not the same person. 10 and 11, same person. So out of 11 positions, 4 positions or 4 people have 4 people are at different positions, or 4 positions we don't have the same person. So that means out of 11, 4 are not possible. That means 7 is the correct answer. So out of the 11 players, the exact position can be determined of 7 players. 43, a question of para completion. Let's read the paragraph and then go to the choices. Rainforests are repositories of biodiversity, especially the unexplored and the wild kind. The antiquity of rainforest ecosystem and its fine-tuned physico-chemical conditions have led to a very high degree of endemism among the species found there. Hence, the destruction of rainforest is opening up the floodgates of species extinction. Of late, the linkage between rainforest and climate change have also become an issue that has caught the attention of scientists and governments the world over. The struggles in the 70s and 80s to protect the unique Silent Valley rainforest in the Western Ghat system in Palakkad district of Kerala was something of a watershed event. So the paragraph is giving us connectivity between rainforest and extinction and its connection with biodiversity. Let's look at the choices. Question choice A. The rainforests occupy a pivotal position in the southern peninsula because of their location at the junction of Western Ghat, Eastern Ghat, Karnataka plains and Malabar coastal strip. This has to be incorrect because it is reducing the scale. This is reducing it to the southern peninsula because of their location and junction of Western Ghat, etc. So this is reducing the scale and hence it has to be incorrect. The paragraph is talking about rainforests in general, okay, and its impact on biodiversity and extinction. It is only talked about the struggle of a specific struggle. In that connection is talked about Silent Valley and Western Ghat system. So when you're looking at choice A, it is unnecessarily reducing the scale of the passage and hence has to be incorrect. Okay. Also, if this had to be there, it would have been in the beginning, but I'm not too worried about that. So from continuity perspective also there is an issue, but to me the reduction of scale is a bigger issue than anything else. Choice B. The Silent Valley also forms the core area of Nilgiri biosphere. Again, the same problem as the earlier one, reduction of scale. My answer should be which should be similar to the passage in terms of scope and scale. So choice B also should be incorrect. Choice C, the Save Silent Valley movement resulted in creation. This is also going out of scope. So when you talk about Save Silent Valley creation movement, this is going out of scope, hence it has to be incorrect. So D should be the right answer, but let's check it out. It helped focus attention worldwide on the need to protect the few remaining patches of rainforest in the country. It helped focus. What helped focus? Let's just go to the passage and look at the last lines. The struggles of 70s and 80s helped focus on the event. Okay? The struggles of 70s and 80s to protect Silent Valley rainforest and Western Ghats was something of a watershed event. It held focus attention worldwide on the need to protect, correct on account of continuity, okay, and scope as well as scale. So correct answer choice D. Question 44. Another question of para completion. Question 44. Another question of para completion. Let's see the paragraph. The West has condemned Russia's action, and the United States, Britain and France have threatened to boycott the G8 summit to be held later this year in Sochi. US Secretary of State John Kerry warned that if Russia did not pull back its forces, Mr. Putin may not even remain in the G8. Though the possibility of Cold War style US-Russia face-off is being projected, a war-weary West would do well to address this threat through diplomatic channels by imposing sanctions and bans and not use force on the ground. India cannot ignore the rising tensions in Ukraine. So logically what should come after this is how is India impacted? So impact on India or why India cannot ignore this situation is what I would be looking for to complete this particular paragraph. Choice A, and tensions are deemed to rise further by India cannot ignore the situation and tensions are going to rise further. Incorrect. It is incorrect on account of continuity. As I said, in terms of continuity, I would have wanted to have something which is connected to the last line, which means why is it that India cannot ignore the rising tensions? Choice B, the Indian community in Ukraine is relatively small, but it has about 3,500 students studying in various medical and technical institutions. Could be correct. Look at the last line. India cannot ignore the rising tension in Ukraine. The Indian community is relatively small, but has 3,500 students, hence it cannot ignore. Correct on account of continuity. But let's look at the other choices and then decide. Okay. Choice C, it might be too early for India to comment on the situation. This is contradicting the last couple of lines where it said India cannot ignore, and here it's saying it is too early for India to comment, but it should use its good ties. Why it does not tell me why India cannot ignore, so incorrect. It is lack of continuity. In fact, it is also going in a different direction as compared to what the paragraph is talking about. So choice C is incorrect. A and C eliminated, we are left with B and D. Choice D, there are clear signs of Moscow's inability to accept Ukraine. Again, incorrect on account of continuity. Even if this had to be there, this should have come earlier. So choice D is incorrect. Correct answer is choice B. Let's move to the next question. Question 45. A word is given, we need to identify the word in which the usage is incorrect or inappropriate. The rule for this is, if you don't know the answer, leave the question. My way of solving the question is read the statements. If I am reasonably sure that it is incorrectly used, only then I will mark it as an answer. Okay. Choice A. Once you work for the week in this department and observe the office politics, you won't need a special session on lay of the land. Lay of the land is a correct usage, so statement A is proper usage, so it cannot be the answer. Choice B. The weekly spraying of pesticides in coffee plantation has been a blight on the land. Blight on the land again is a correct usage. Blight is a kind of disease, so the land has become diseased, and in terms of usage this is acceptable. So choice B should not be the correct answer. Statement choice C. They left their lucrative city jobs and bought a place in hills and lived off the land for the rest of their lives. This is incorrect. Lived off the land. You live off the land, that means you do agriculture, you produce, and then you use it for yourself. So to live off the land is correct usage, but it has to be OFF, not OF. So this is incorrect. This is incorrect usage, so this should be the correct answer, but I'll still verify statement D. The semi-finals of the heavyweight tournament reached an exciting finish when the boxer landed a blow on his opponent. Yes, you land a blow on your opponent. So A, C, D are correct usage, hence not the correct answer. Choice C is incorrect because lived off the land, it has to be OFF and not OF. Let's move to the next question. Question 46. Tier. Similar question. Identify the statement in which the word tier has not been used correctly. Choice A. She has a vindictive personality and doesn't lose an opportunity to tear down her friends behind their backs. Statement A is correct usage. To tear down means to run down someone, to discredit someone. So choice A cannot be the answer because tear down is an accepted usage. Statement B, choice B, his careless attitude in the last few months of his mother's life tore at his soul once she lost her battle with cancer. Not sure. I am not sure if tore at his soul is a proper usage or not, so I am just leaving the statement and we'll move on to the next one. Statement C. She specifically asked the interior decorator to buy sturdy furniture for the house as the children and dogs were used to tearing around all day. Tear around all day, tearing around all day is a proper usage, so I don't have an issue with this. To tear around is to run around, to rush around, to create chaos in general. Okay, so choice C is not the correct answer because tearing around all day is an acceptable usage. Choice D. Jack and his friends were in a hurry to get to class and tore up the lawn in a reckless manner. Again, I am not sure, or rather, when I was solving the paper, I was not sure if this is a proper usage or not. Since I was not sure about it, I left the question unattempted. So, this was, along with the fill in the blanks, this was the other question which I did not attempt. Why? Because while I am reasonably sure A and C are proper usage, hence not the correct answer, I was not sure if tore at his soul or tore up the lawn, which of the two is an incorrect usage. Okay. Later on, while going through the explanation, I got the correct answer that to tear at his soul or tore at his soul is correct usage, and tore up the lawn, it should be tore across the lawn. You run across the lawn, so it should be tear across or tore across. Okay, so the correct answer has to be statement D, but as I said, I left this question unattempted because in between B and D I was not sure of what the answer should be. Let's move to the next question now. Questions 47 to 49, a set of LR. Let's go through the data and the questions. Each of the 8 friends A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I am just ignoring the names, I'll just go by the alphabets. Bought a flat in Chandlerlok Plaza, a 4-storied building with 2 flats on each floor. The flat numbers are given to us 101, 201 and so on and so forth. Where the leftmost digit of a flat number denotes the floor number of the flat. So 202 is on the second floor. Flats 101, 201, 301 and 401 were priced. Okay, the price is given. On each floor, the price of the even numbered flat was 2 lakh less than the odd number flat. First and second floors had garage each. Second and third floor had a balcony each. Okay. Then we have additional data given to us. Okay. So let's go through the data and fill up the table. I have made a blank table out here and we'll need to fill that up. So very quickly, let's just put the flat numbers. Floor or the flat number 101, 201, 301 and 401. Similarly, the right side would, let me assume they are the even number flats. So 102, 202, 302 and 402. These are the 8 flats which are there in this building. We have also been given the price of these flats. The flats of 101, 201, 301 and 401 are 55 lakhs. So just write that 55 lakh for 101, 45 lakh for 201. Next thing we have is 42 lakh and 36 lakh. And the price of the even number of flats is 2 lakh less. So these are the floor numbers. Let me just put a line out here. Okay. And the price of the flat, even numbered flats, is 2 lakhs less. So this is 34 lakh, this is 40 lakh, this is 43 lakh, and this is 53 lakh. So these are the prices which are given. Okay. Let's go to the information and start filling the information. The flat bought by Ajmal was an odd numbered flat. So Ajmal is an odd numbered flat and the price of the flat was between 35 to 44 lakh. So Ajmal is first of all on the odd numbered side and the price of the flat is from 35 to 45 lakhs. Now which means Ajmal can be in any of these floors. So Ajmal can be here, 35 to 45 lakhs is the price. I'm sorry, 35 to 44 lakh is the price range given. So Ajmal has to be either in 301 or in 401. So first statement we have taken care of. Let's forget about this. Statement 2. Hatim bought a flat which had a garage. So Hatim has a flat which has a garage, which means he could be 101, 201, or he has to be on the first or second floor. Whether odd or even, we don't know. So let's hold on with Hatim for a minute. Third, the flat bought by neither Ajmal nor Cheetal was on the same floor as that of Dolly. So what we are saying is Ajmal Dolly or Dolly Ajmal is not possible, and Cheetal Dolly is again not possible. These are not on the same floor. Okay. Gajju bought the costliest flat. Okay, so we know one person. So Gajju is definitely here. Okay. So Gajju is on this flat. It is the costliest flat for 55 lakhs. So he is placed here. Flat bought by Cheetal was not even numbered, so it was odd numbered. So Cheetal is on the right hand side, the even number flats. Okay. So which one we don't know, but let's go forward with the other data. The sum of Ajmal and Vijender is even number. Now since Ajmal has an odd number flat, that means Vijender will also have to have an odd number flat, because odd plus odd is even. If Vijender is even, the sum will not be an even number. So Vijender is also on the odd numbered side. So Vijender will also be on this side. Next statement. Flat bought by Cheetal was in between 39 to 60 lakhs. So 39 to 60 lakhs Cheetal could be. Okay, Cheetal is on the right hand side, or the even numbered flat 39 to 60 lakhs. She could be on any one of them. Cheetal is not here. So let me say Cheetal cannot be on this floor. Cheetal can be on 302, she can be on 202, and she can be on 102. Okay. The flat bought by Cheetal was above the floors of Gajju and Ina. So Cheetal is above Gajju, Cheetal is above Ina. Now it is possible she is immediately above, or it is possible that someone else is below them. Keep filling up the table. To save time, I have just drawn a blank table out here so that we don't waste time, and that is on this aspect. Let us put down the flat numbers first. 101, 201, 301 and 401, the left hand side flats. Similarly, the right hand side 102, 202, 302 and 402. And let us put the price of the flats also. We know the bottom most is 55 lakh. Next is 45 lakh. Yes, 45 lakh. 201. This is 42 lakh. And the last one is 35 lakh. The flats on the even number of flats are 2 lakh less. So this should be, okay, let me just put a line out here to differentiate. Okay, similarly out here. So these are 33 lakh, 40 lakh, 43 lakh and 53 lakh. Okay. Let's start reading these statements and let's start filling up the table. The flat bought by Ajmal was an odd numbered flat and in the range of 35 to 44. So Ajmal is odd numbered. So let me put it in here that he's somewhere on this side, and his range is 35 to 44 lakhs. That means Ajmal will be either here or here. So Ajmal can be either here or here. These are the two possible places for Ajmal. Statement 2. Hatim bought a flat which has a garage. That means he is on the first floor or the second floor. But let's go to the table later and let's see if we can, the subsequent statement give us any other information. The flat bought by neither Ajmal nor Cheetal was not on the same floor as Dolly. That means Ajmal and Dolly are not on the same floor. Cheetal and Dolly are not on the same floor. Okay. Next statement. Gajju bought the costliest flat. This we can fill up straight away. We know which is the costliest flat. The flat 101 is the costliest flat. So Gajju has to be here. And so let me put him here. So on the left hand side we have, or the odd numbered flats, Ajmal and Gajju are confirmed. Okay. Flat bought by Cheetal was not even numbered. So Cheetal is also on the odd numbered flat. So she also has to be here. Okay. The sum of flat numbers of Ajmal and Vijender was a even number. Since Ajmal has an odd numbered flat, Vijender should also have an odd numbered flat because odd plus odd is even. So Vijender is also here. So since we know the four names which are on the odd numbered sides, that means the four names on the even numbered side should be D, E, F and H. And we know Hatim has a flat with a garage. If I remember correctly, Hatim has a flat with a garage. That means he's on this floor or this floor. Okay, these are the two possibilities in 102 or 202. Okay. Okay, we said that this is not possible. We'll come back to it. The flat bought by Cheetal was priced in the range of 39 to 60 lakhs. Cheetal is 39 to 60 lakhs. So that means this is not possible. Cheetal is possible here, she is possible here also. This is not possible because this 101 we already know is occupied only by Gajju. Yeah. The flat bought by Cheetal was on the floor above the floors of Gajju and Ina. She is above both of them but below Ajmal. So Ajmal, Cheetal, Gajju, Ina. Okay. Now it is possible that this is fourth floor, this is third floor, this is second floor, this is one floor. This is possible. It is also possible. Please note, it is not given immediately above or below. That means there could be someone between Ajmal and Cheetal. There could also be someone between Cheetal and Gajju or Cheetal and Ina. But what we know is Ajmal is on the highest floor among these, followed by Cheetal, and Gajju and Ina below Cheetal. So let me just put that data out here. So we have here that Ajmal has to be higher than Cheetal and Cheetal has to be higher than both Gajju and Ina. Any other information we need? We have already taken care of this. Okay. Flat bought by neither Ajmal. Okay, so let's put this data also on the same footing. So we also know that Ajmal Cheetal is not possible on the same. I'm sorry, Ajmal Dolly is not possible. Ajmal and Dolly cannot be on the same floor. Similarly, Cheetal and Dolly cannot be on the same floor. So Ajmal and Cheetal cannot be on the same floor as Dolly. Now let's start filling the table. Okay. Let's make the various scenarios. Scenario 1, Gajju is in the bottom floor, that we don't have a problem at all. Let me assume the first case, Ajmal is here. Okay. Now Ajmal is here, that means Cheetal has to be below Ajmal, so she could be either here or here. So in one case, let's take Cheetal here, and the other case we take Ajmal here and Cheetal here. So Gajju here. So the person who's remaining here is B. So B. Okay. The third case could be Ajmal is not on the fourth floor, but on the third floor. So let's take Ajmal here. Gajju in any case is here. He has to be here. Cheetal has to be below Ajmal, so then Cheetal will have to be here and Vijender will be here. So there are three scenarios possible. In this case, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So let's look at all three scenarios. On the right hand side, what happened. So this is the scenario 1, this is scenario 2 and this is scenario 3. Okay. So let's start with scenario 3. Scenario 3. The first thing is Cheetal has to be above Gajju as well as Ina. Since Cheetal is on second floor, that means Ina will have to be on the first floor. So scenario 3 is what we are looking at this point of time. Okay. And second, Hatim has to be either on the first floor or second floor, so Hatim has to be here. Thirdly, neither Ajmal nor Dolly are possible with neither Ajmal nor Cheetal are possible with Dolly on the same floor. So Dolly cannot be here, so Dolly will have to be here. So the remaining person F, he or she will have to be here. So this is one combination. Scenario 3 is, we have solved it. Let's look at scenario 2. Again, Cheetal is on second floor, so Ina will have to be on first floor. Because Ina has to be below Cheetal. And Hatim has to have a garage, so he has to be on second floor, because above second floor there is no garage. This we are looking at is scenario 2. Third, Ajmal Dolly and Cheetal Dolly are not possible, so Ajmal Dolly is not possible. We are looking at scenario 2. So Ajmal Dolly is not possible, so Dolly will have to be here in scenario 2, and the remaining person F will come here, which does not contradict anything, so this is also perfectly fine. Now let's look at scenario 1. Okay. Scenario 1 again. Hatim has to have a garage, so he is either on first or on second. Okay. And Cheetal has to be above Ina, so that means since Cheetal is on third floor in scenario 1, Ina will also have to be either first or second. So in third scenario, either E or H is here, either E or H is here. So let me just remove this. Okay. Next, Ajmal Dolly is not possible, Cheetal Dolly is not possible. Ajmal Dolly, so Dolly cannot come here, Dolly cannot come here. So scenario 1 is not possible because Dolly cannot take any of the 4 positions. So scenario 1 is incorrect. So let's just eliminate this and eliminate this. So there are 2 scenarios possible. Okay. Just to make our life easier, let me write down the 2 scenarios. Scenario 1 as Ajmal, Brijendra, Cheetal, Gajju, and corresponding to this A, B, C, G, we have the corresponding scenario 2 as F, D, H, E. F, D, H, E. So these are this is one scenario which is possible. What is the other scenario possible? The scenario 3. So B, A, G, C, scenario 3 becomes B, A, G, C, and scenario 3 out here is D, F, H, E. So these are the 2 scenarios possible. Let us put these 2 scenarios in the next sheet and solve the questions. Which of the following is definitely not a correct pair of friends who bought flats on the same floor? Ajmal and Philip, they have a flat on the same floor in scenario 3 as well as scenario 2, so they are definitely they are definitely on the same floor. So this is possible, so this cannot be the answer. Cheetal and Hatim are available in statement scenario 3 as well as scenario 2, so this again cannot be the answer because they have definitely bought the flats on the same floor. Ina and Bijender are not there in scenario 3. Ina and Bijender are not there in scenario 2. So this combination of people on the same floor is not possible, so this is the correct answer. Just to verify, Bijender and Dolly, are they possible? Yes, they are possible in scenario 3 as well as scenario 2. Both the scenarios this is possible. Okay. So correct answer is choice C. Next question. Which of the following could be a correct combination of floor buyer? Ajmal 301. So just let it quickly write 101, 201, 301, 401, and this is 402, 302, 202 and 102. So when we look at Ajmal 301, yes, it is possible. Okay. Ajmal, I am sorry. So which could be a correct combination. Ajmal 301 is possible. So this should be the answer, but let's check the others also. Hatim 201, Bijender 302. Hatim 201 is not possible. Hatim is 202 in all the cases. Then we have Bijender 302. Bijender is not possible to be on the right hand side, so 302 is not possible. And similarly, the last choice, Philip 401, is not possible. The correct answer is 301. Last question of the set. The names of the friends whose flats definitely had a balcony. Balcony is available on floor second and third. So a flat which is not on second floor or third floor will not have a balcony. So let's check out the cases. Bijender and Dolly. Bijender is on fourth floor in one case, in third floor in other. That means in one scenario Bijender does not have a balcony, in another scenario Bijender has a balcony. The question says definitely. That means in both the scenarios it should have a balcony. So Bijender cannot be the answer. Is Bijender there in anyone else? No, Bijender is not there in anyone else. Okay, let's check Ajmal. Ajmal has a balcony in scenario 3. It does not have a balcony in scenario 2. So Ajmal cannot again be a part of my answer. So let me just remove Ajmal from here also. Okay. So let's check out then for Cheetal. If Cheetal has a balcony. Cheetal has a balcony in the first scenario, in scenario 3, and Cheetal has a balcony in scenario 2. So Cheetal has a balcony in both the scenarios. So Cheetal is correct, and which means this does not have Cheetal. So okay, let's check out for H also. Hatim. Does Hatim have a balcony in both the cases? Yes, Hatim is flat on the second floor in both the cases. So Cheetal and Hatim have a balcony in both the scenarios. So they definitely have a balcony. Okay. So easy set. And I'm sure most of you would have got it right. Questions 50 to 52, the second RC passage. I had a quick look at the passage. I knew this was not the kind of passage I would be happy doing. I did not attempt this passage at all in the paper. After the paper, I went through the passage again and I realized that I made the right decision. This was a good passage to leave as far as I am concerned. Okay. The passage, even after the paper and I was reading, I was not enjoying it. Not the kind of topic which interests me, that could possibly be the reason, which is why whenever I decide which passage to attempt, the first thing I'll check out is the passage readable, does it pertain to a topic that I'm comfortable with, for which I'll typically quickly glance through the passage, pick up a few words. If they interest me, I pick it up. If they don't, I leave it. And that is what happened with this passage. It did not interest me, so I left the passage. Let's go to the questions. Question 50. Which of the following questions would you most likely ask the author at the end of the passage? Now the answer to such questions about what would you like to ask the author would always be a function of what the passage was, which means look out for those choices which are connected to the passage. Anything which is outside the scope of the passage or which reduces or significantly increases the scope or the scale is definitely going to be incorrect. And in that context, I was able to pull out choice B and D very easily. Choice B, how does art help human to transcend the limitation of the soul? The passage has nowhere talked about limitation of the soul. So soul is something new, it is outside the scope, hence it is incorrect on account of scope. So I had to ask something which is connected to the passage, so continuity is important. Some issues with the author is yes, they are important, but also it should be talking about the specific things which the author has talked about. And limitation of soul was not talked about at all. Similarly, choice G was easy to eliminate. Just quickly going through choice G. How have different movements in arts? Different movements in art have not been talked about at all. Again, you are going out of scope. Since the scope has been changed, choice D has to be incorrect on account of scope. So B and D were the first two choices which I eliminated when I was solving this, when I was doing this passage after the paper. Now this leaves me with choice A and C. So let us look at both the choices. Choice A, how would one explain these religious experiences in the context of the changing conception of human? And choice C, how is human exceptionalism transcendent in its essence and hence different from religious thought? Is it different from religious thought, has the author anywhere said? Let's go back to the passage and check out. If I remember correctly, it was the beginning of, it was the end of the, if I remember correctly, it was the end of the first paragraph. Okay, let's see. Humanizing influence over time, however, newfound possibilities of detaching the sense of transcendence in art from its religious roots came to be matched by a growing suspicion of the very idea of transcendence. This became particularly true in the post-Enlightenment world. For many, the very rootedness of the idea of transcendence in religious belief made it an uncomfortable concept. The very idea of transcendence in religious belief made it an uncomfortable concept. The desire to challenge religion became a desire to challenge the idea of human exceptionalism and of human experience in any sense, as in any sense transcendent. Now, nowhere does it say that there is some difference. They are significantly different. So as far as I am concerned, I cannot say that human exceptionalism transcendent in its essence and different from religious thought. So I will eliminate choice C also and mark choice A as the answer. Would I do this question if I in the examination? No. Even if I had read this question, read this passage, which I did not, and left this passage, I would have left this question difficult for me. I have been able to eliminate and get to the right answer, but I would say I've been a little lucky. I could easily have been wrong. Not a question to attempt for people like me. For those of you who enjoy this kind of passage, probably this would have been a very easy question. Question 51. Which of the following options best explain the ideas presented in the first paragraph? Now, before we start answering this question, let us quickly go back and read the first paragraph all over again. The humanizing influence, impulsively in Dante about etc. over time. However, the newfound possibilities of detaching the sense of transcendence in art from religious roots. So, the possibilities of detaching the sense of transcendence in art from religious roots came to be matched by growing suspicion of the very idea of transcendence. This became particularly true in the post-Enlightenment world. For many, the very rootedness of the idea of transcendence in religious belief made it an uncomfortable concept. Okay. Let's go to the choices now. Choice A. There's skepticism on the relationship that exists between transcendence and religious belief. There's skepticism. There's no skepticism which has been mentioned. It talks about growing suspicion on the idea of transcendence. So this is there, but the skepticism or relationship between transcendence and religious belief, not really. So choice A cannot be correct. Choice B, the link of transcendence as well as its link with religious belief was questioned. Yes, the link of idea of transcendence is being questioned and its link with religious belief was being questioned. Should be correct, but let's go through the other choices also. With the view of human undergoing a change, it became necessary to reinvestigate the idea of transcendence and religion. Choice C is saying that human with the view of human undergoing the change, reinvestigation happened. But that link is not brought out in the passage, hence this cannot be the answer. Choice D, the separation of the idea of transcendence in art from a previous viewpoint also meant that art itself underwent a questioning phase. Art itself undergoing a questioning phase has not been talked about. So choice D also is incorrect. The correct answer is choice B. The last question of this passage. Which of the following option best captures the reason of the 20th century, the reasons the 20th century witnessed some extraordinary work of art? Let's go through the choices. Choice A, the crisis of reason led to questioning of conventional ways of art and hence paved the way for new forms of art. But it also talked about the fact that there were historical events which took place in 20th century. So it was crisis of reason and also the historical events of 20th century. Let's quickly go back to the passage and check out where it was. Yeah, the second paragraph, just look at the second paragraph. They began to develop darker view of what it meant to be human as the optimism about human capacities that had originally suffused the humanist impulse began to ebb away. 19th century experience not simply crisis of faith, but also what is called crisis of reason. So there was a crisis of faith as well as a crisis of reason. Okay. The erosion of enlightenment optimism, a disenchantment with the ideas of progress, disbelief in concept of truth, the history of 20th century world wars, these historical events is all he's talking about, all of these, and also witness a revolution in the way the artists were able to conceive the human. Okay, so it is all talking about that crisis of reason and the historical events, both of them are being talked about in this question. So choice B again, which talks about the banishment of existing worldview led to reduced optimism. So this is also incorrect. So choice A and B are incorrect. Choice C, disillusionment with the prevailing ideas of 19th century and the historical events in the 20th century led to a shake-up among artists who brought out amazing works. Yes, this should be correct. But let's check out statement D also. Movement of art away from religion and questioning the concept of transcendence helps free artists from the no. Incorrect. Correct answer choice C. So as I said, I am extremely happy I did not do this passage in the paper, because I am sure out of the 3 questions I would have definitely got the 1, most probably 2 incorrect answers. The third question is the only one which I am reasonably sure which I would have got correct in the paper itself. Okay. Let's move to the next question now. Questions 53 to 55, another set of LR, or the last set of LR questions. Let's see the data and see how to solve the questions. Each of the 5 PMAT aspirants A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 made it to the final shortlist of at least one B school among BMS, VLRI, TSB, IMP and SISS. Each of the aforementioned B schools released its list on a different date between 21 to 25th. The 5 B schools, exactly 2 of the 5 B schools offer admissions in HR, and the remaining 3 offer admission in 3 different streams: marketing, operations and finance. None of the 5 B schools offer admission in more than one stream. Okay. And then we have additional data. Okay. Now it is important for us to remember that you have to read the data, but after reading the data you should go through the questions also. Let's quickly go through the question and then come back to the data. Okay. Now, first question, or question 53, which of the following could not be a possible value of sum of number of aspirants who made it to the final shortlist of VLRI, okay, and those who made it to the final shortlist of SISS. Question 54, who among the following could have made it to the shortlist of exactly 4 B schools? 55, which is correct, A4 made it to IMP, A4 made it to the finalist of that B school that offers operation in B school that offers admission operation. Number of aspirants who out of 5 who made to final shortlist of VLRI cannot be less than 4. Now when you look at all the 3 questions, the questions are actually only about where did they get calls from, not so much about, or rather there is no question which worries about the date, and specialization has only come in one question. Okay? So when I am creating the table, my focus has to be on making sure I get the aspirants and the B school shortlist correct rather than anything else. That has to be my focus, because in any case none of the questions are asking about the date, but nevertheless we will keep filling it up. Let's go to the statements now. A2 and A5 are females and rest are males. So A2 and A5 are females, so let's put that. A2 is a female, A5 is a female, and the other 3 are males. Statement 2. BMS, which offers admission in marketing, was the first to release its final shortlist. BMS marketing and first to release a shortlist, which means it has to be on 21st. Okay, so let's go to the next statement now. Statement 3. IMP, which does not offer admission in HR. So IMP does not offer admission in HR, released its final shortlist before the final shortlist of TISS. So IMP has come before TISS. SISS. But after the final shortlist of VLRI, which in turn, that means VLRI released its final shortlist before the final shortlist of TSB. That means VLRI is the second institute to release its shortlist, so it should be on 22nd, and TSB could be here, TSB could be here, and TSB could be here. So we cannot at this point of time say anything about the dates for the other 3. So VLRI is the second item, so it would have come on 22nd. Okay. Next statement. TSB, which offers admission in neither HR nor finance. That means TSB is either marketing or operations. So TSB is either marketing or operations. Released its final shortlist before the final shortlist of IMP and SISS. So TSB has also, which means is here, which means TSB is on 23rd. TSB is on 23rd, and since IMP is before SISS, so IMP has to be 24th. Oh, so 24th here and 25th. So dates of release of shortlist has been obtained. It's a different matter, it will be of no use as far as the questions are concerned. Statement 5. Only A1 and A3 make it to the final shortlist of the B school that offers admission in marketing. A1 and A3 make it to marketing final shortlist, so only BMS offers that. So A1 and A3 are the only two. That means these three have not made it to the final shortlist of BMS. Statement 6. The number of females who made it to the final shortlist of SISS was more than the number of females who made it to the final shortlist of IMP. So females in SISS is more than the number of females in the shortlist of IMP. So IMP, and but less than the number of females who made to the final shortlist of VLRA. That means VLRA. Now there are two females. That means both the females who are, have to be here. One female has made it to SISS and no female has made it to IMP. So we can clearly say A2 and A5 who are females, both of them have been shortlisted by VLRA and none of them has been shortlisted by IMP. So both females in VLRA, and none of the females in IMP. So let's cancel out IMP for A2 and A5, and one of them, we don't know which one, but one of them has definitely got into SISS. So 1 and 2. One of them has made it to SISS, we do not know which one. So statement 6 also has been taken care of. Statement 7. Exactly 2 of the 5 aspirants made to the final shortlist of all 5 B schools. 2 made it to all 5 B schools. Now A2 cannot make it to all 5 B schools because she is not been taken in BMS. Similarly A5 is not possible, A4 is not possible. So the 2 aspirants who have made it to the final shortlist of all B schools are A1 and A3. Let's look at the other statements. Statement 7 we have again taken care of. Let's see if let's go through the statements again and see if we can fill up the remaining pieces of data with respect to specialization. Now statement 4. TSB which offers admission neither HR nor finance, that means it is either marketing or operations as we have written out here, but marketing is already offered by BMS. That means TSB cannot be offering marketing, it has to be offering only operations. So let's fill up operations for TSB and go back to the statements again. Now statement 3. IMP does not offer admission in HR. That means it has to be either marketing or finance or operations, but marketing and operations are already taken care of, so it should be offering admissions in finance. So which means IMP is finance. And since 2 B schools offer admission in HR, the remaining 2 have to be HR. This completes the table. Now just to remind you, we actually did not need to fill this up completely. We could have just left it and gone to the question, and because most of the questions are only about the candidates and the shortlist, and they are not really about specialization or the date of the results. So let's go to the questions. Which of the following, question 53, which of the following could not be a possible value of the sum of number of aspirants who made it to the final shortlist of VLRA? So VLRA, how many students have made to the final shortlist? And they also made to the final shortlist of SISS. So let's check out how many candidates can make it to the final shortlist of VLRA and SISS. VLRA 1, 2, 3 and 4 are already there. The 5th could also be there, we don't know. So the number of candidates who can make it to the final shortlist of VLRA is either 4 or 5. What about SISS? Now A1 and A3 are definitely there, and one of the females is definitely there, so 3 are definitely there. Okay, and the other case could be 4, which means A4 also. But since both the females cannot be together in SISS, only one of them has got a call. So the maximum number is 4, and if A4 also does not get, then it is 3. So either 3 or 4 candidates will get a call from SISS. So which of the following could not be a possible value of sum? So the possible sums are 4 plus 3, 7. Another sum is 4 plus 3, 4 plus 4, 8. 5 plus 3 again is 8, so 5 plus 4, 9. So 7, 8 and 9 cannot be a part of my answer. The correct answer is hence choice D, state 6. Question 54. Who among the following could have made it to the final shortlist of exactly 4 B schools? Let's check out. We know 2 people have calls from exactly 5, which means A1 and A2, A1 and A3 are ruled out. A2 is ruled out because it has not made it to BMS as well as IMP, so 2 are ruled out. Similarly, A5 is ruled out because she is not made it to BMS and IMP. So the only person who could make it to exactly 4 B schools is A4. Question 54, the correct answer, choice G, A4. Question 55, which of the following statements is definitely true? A4 made it to the final shortlist of IMP. Let's go back to the table. A4 made it to IMP. Definitely true, we don't know. He could have, he may not have. So since the question is definitely true, we need a tick there. So choice A cannot be the answer. Choice B, A4 made it to the final list of B school that offers admission operation. A4 in the B school that offers admission operations may have. We don't know. So we don't know. Are we definite? We are not definite that he could have. He has made a call, made it to the school. He may have. He may not have. So again, statement B cannot be the correct answer. Statement C. The number of aspirants out of 5 who made it to final shortlist of VLRE cannot be less than 4. So this statement means either 4, all 5 candidates made it to the final shortlist of VLRI. Let's see. So VLRI, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4 are definite. So at least 4 have made it, and it is, if A4 has also got a call, it will be 5. So it is either 4 or 5. That means statement C is correct. Correct answer, choice C. We don't need to worry hence about none of these. Okay. Questions 56 to 58, the last IC passage. I found this an easy passage. In fact, for me, this was a relief when I compared with the second passage, which I found difficult to read, and hence I did not attempt that passage. I attempted only the first passage on the corruption and this passage. Okay, let's go to the questions and try to get the answer. The passage is by and large focusing on private education and in the area of professional education. Okay, private education and what are the implications, should it be there or not, and should it be regulated or not regulated. So let's look at the questions. Question 56. Which of the following option best summarizes the passage above? So the best summary, that means it should by and large be able to encompass most of the issues which the passage has talked about. Choice A, privatization of higher education should be allowed. Yes, he is okay with allowing it, but this is not the focus of the passage. It starts by saying it should be allowed, and then it also says it should be regulated. So regulation, and it should not be free fall in private education in professional field is what he is talking about. So choice A cannot be the answer. It does not summarize the passage completely. Choice B, privatization of higher education should be allowed within a regulatory framework. Yes, this is what he's talked about, but let's look at the other choices and then finalize. Choice C, privatization of education is essential to ensure that country does not lose student population to other countries. No, this is not the key. This is not the summary of the passage. The summary of the passage is that privatization is okay as long as it is regulated, and hence choice B is the right answer till now, and choice C is incorrect. Choice D, higher education, this is incorrect. I don't even need to go further because the passage is not about higher education, it is about professional education. Okay, so professional education and training is what the passage was talking about, not higher education. Higher education, professional education is a subset. So this statement is actually increasing the scale of, so the scale is increasing, and hence it is an incorrect option. Correct answer hence is choice B. Question 57. According to the author, which of the following would not be perceived as the correct use of taxpayers' money? Which would not be perceived as a correct use of taxpayers' money? Let's go through the choices. A few students trained in specialized fields move in to become successful professionals in that field in India. Yes, that is the correct use of taxpayers' money as per the author. Okay. In fact, if you remember somewhere in the passage, he had talked about the fact that students trained in professional field moving on to politics is also acceptable. And by and large, he's talked about the fact that as long as you are within the country in whichever area you are, by and large, helping the nation, and that is the correct usage. So choice A is correct usage, so it cannot be the answer. Choice B, a few students trained in specialized field move on to public service domain. Again, this is the correct usage, and remember the passage talked about a few, that not everyone will do it, there are very few people who do it, so it does not matter, and we should be happy with the diversity in terms of the genetic pool for in public service. That more engineers, doctors and other professionally trained people are coming in is good. So choice B is also correct usage, so it cannot be the answer. Choice C, all students receiving higher education serve the country for a short period to repay the cost of the education. This was in fact a specific suggestion which the author had given. Very quickly go to the passage. Yeah, somewhere here. The answer to this malaise is surely not the privatization of professional education, but the expectation that youth in question serve in India, not necessarily in the public sector alone, for a brief period after graduation. Thus, they would effectively repay their cost of education. So, people doing their higher education, professional education or higher education, serving the country for a short period to repay is an acceptable usage, so cannot be the answer. Hence D should be the answer, but let's verify. A few students receiving higher education use their skills in international arena in other countries. D would be the correct answer because they have the taxpayer money has not been used for the benefit of the taxpayers at all. Hence, it has to be incorrect. Let's go to the last question. Question 58. Which of the following is mentioned in the passage as a reason to support the case for regulation of privately funded professional education? The reason to support the case of regulation. Okay. So let's go back to the passage and identify where it has been talked about. In the first paragraph itself, it has been talked about. This definitely to prima facie. Okay. However, the government should cease. However, that the government should cease regulating institution that it does not fund is surely wrong. He is in favor of regulation. The case of regulation is education by consideration of no different from concerns of patients' well-being, which lead us to prescribe standards of medical practice. Similarly, we insist on driver's license to ensure safety of pedestrians on the road. Note that public intervention here is guided by the motivation to defend private interests, as the actions by doctors and drivers undertaken in their private interest on have an impact on the well-being of others. So this is what he talks about. So let's go back to the question and identify the correct answer choice. Choice A, regulatory bodies can be domineering in their approach, and hence these bodies need to be, there is a continuous need for social audit of these bodies. This is irrelevant, or rather this is actually the opposite. But I will say it is incorrect because this is not the reason for regulating privately funded professional education. Choice B, private education institutes set the base for career and consequently the future life for their students. Yes, this can be correct, but let's verify the other choices also. As of now, A is definitely incorrect. B is something which is most probably correct. C, publicly funded education has not kept pace with the demand for it. Again, this is not connected. We are talking about that regulation of privately funded education. This is a reason for allowing private education, but there is not a sufficient reason for allowing regulation. The reason for regulation till now is best summarized in choice B. So choice C is also incorrect. Choice G, students studying in privately funded institute lack professional qualities. Found those in this, there is no data to support this. This is outside the scope of the passage. This is in fact not being mentioned in the passage. So choice G is incorrect. The correct answer is choice B. Let's move to the next question now. Question 59. 5 statements are given from a paragraph and we need to identify which statements are incorrect in terms of grammar and usage. Now just to repeat, for those of you who are going through this for the first time, my way of handling such questions, identify the statement in which you are 100% sure of the error, use that to eliminate the choice. Since I don't know any bit of grammar, if I think the statement looks okay, most of the time I will not use it to eliminate choices. But if I am 100% sure that there is an error, I will use it to eliminate the choices. Statement A. But the fear was not because of her. The fear was deep down in not himself but in him. So it should be deep down in him. I am reasonably sure that choice A is incorrect because it has used the word himself instead of him. So any choice which does not contain A has to be incorrect. A is available in choice A and B. C and D are incorrect because they do not contain statement A. Statement B. He was afraid it would be difficult for him to leave a weeping and crying Yashodhara. I find this okay. I could not identify any error, so I'll just leave it. Similarly, statement C, fear is always of oneself. I could not identify any error, so I moved on to the next statement. Statement D, it would be very cruel and he could not be so cruel. So it was better to escape while one's wife was asleep. Can't identify any error, move to statement E. So he escaped and after 12 years he came back, not he had come back. He came back. So statement E is again incorrect. E is not available in choice B, so this is incorrect. The correct answer is choice A. So if you notice, you can always get the answer by having part of the solution if you are willing to work with the choices. Let's go back and check out in statement D what was the error which I was unable to identify while solving the paper. It would be very cruel and he could not be so cruel. He could not be so cruel. So it was better to escape when his wife was sleeping. Not one's wife but his wife. So because he could not be cruel, he has to escape when his wife is sleeping. So the correct answer is A, D, E, and in D we missed out an error. Hence we go back to the solution, check out the error and remember it for the future. Let's move to the last question of this paper. Another question of grammar. Identify the choices or the statements which have an error. Statement A. Katie is legally blind, working on the radio and has a passion for movies. This is incorrect. It does not sound correct also. If you have a habit of reading, you will be able to pick this one reasonably fast. Katie is legally blind, works on the radio. Okay. It has to be, parallelism has to be taken care of. It has to be of the same form and has a passion for movies. She is legally blind, she works on the radio and has a passion for movies. Choice A or statement A is incorrect in terms of usage. So any choice that does not contain A has to be incorrect. So A is available here, choice B is incorrect, A is available in choice C, choice D is incorrect. Now between A and C, we have unique set of statements CE and BD. So if I can identify even one more statement correctly to be having an error, I will get my answer. Statement B, living with congenital achromatopsia, the world is literally manifested in black and white to Katie. Okay. Statement C, her vision fluctuates depending upon the amount of light around her. Can't find anything wrong with statement B or C. Statement D, when there is a lot of light, everything looks washed out, such as an exposed, overexposed. It should be like an overexposed. It should be like an overexposed photograph. Statement D hence is incorrect and any choice that does not contain D has to be incorrect. So choice A is incorrect. Correct answer has to be choice C. But let's verify choice E also, statement E also. So when she watches movie, visual details that are critical to following movie stories and characters can be missed. That's not to be worried. So the key thing out here is again we got the answer on the basis of choice statement A and statement D. Let's find out what was wrong with statement B. Statement B, the error which we could not pick out. Living with congenital achromatopsia, the world is literally manifested in black and white to Katie. Okay. It should be living with congenital achromatopsia. Katie literally sees the world in black and white. It should be the other way around. So this is something which I need to remember for future. This is my revision item. So I need to revise this so that I don't miss out on such a thing again. This completes the section. Great. Now that we have gone through the entire VLR section, let's do a quick review of this section also. The first question in this paper, in this section was of fill in the blanks, question 31. which I found difficult and I was not able to get to the answer, and hence it's an issue of revision for me because I was not sure between invocation, evocation, which should be the one. So I need to revise this on a regular basis to make sure I don't make this mistake again. The two parajumble questions were easy, and hopefully most of you have also got them right, but I personally felt that none of the two parajumble questions or none of the two odd statement out questions were very difficult. They were all doable. It is possible that out of these 4 questions you may get one wrong or so, but in general I would not say they were difficult. Okay. Next we had the corruption, the RC passage on corruption, questions 36 to 39. This was an easy to read passage and I hope most of you have attempted it. Easy to read, easy question. At best you may have an issue with the last question of this passage, which asked what is the style of the author, whether it was rhetorical, argumentative, analytical, and hence in this question I would say for many of us question 39 has to be revised. When I say revised, the reason is that it is talking about style of the author. It is giving us 4 different styles and we need to understand each one of them so that when the question comes in any other passage we are able to give the correct answer. Question 40 to 42, the next one was the LR question. Okay. This is not difficult, but I felt this was time consuming and I did not attempt this in the paper. Okay. This was time consuming and I had done the other two. This one I attempted in the paper in the end after I had done everything. So initially I did not attempt it, came back to it at the later stage. But it was time consuming to me. It was 8 statements in this questions 40 to 42, 8 statements to read, and then when you look at the questions very clearly tell you will not be able to place all 8 people correctly. So there will be some gaps. So time consuming, hence not the first choice to solve. Okay. After these questions, we then move to the 2 questions of para completion. Okay. Para completion, not difficult, I would say they were moderate. They were not easy, but they were moderate and definitely not very difficult. And if you just apply that basic concept of scope, scale, continuity, and tone, you will by and large be able to get most of them right. So again, if you are weak in this area, do go through these questions. Don't even only look at which is the correct answer, look at also which are the incorrect choices and why are they incorrect. Okay. Question 45, 46. Okay. Question number 46 and 45, both of these are questions which I have to revise. These questions I will always revise, the word usage question, because these are unending and the more I revise, the better are my chances of doing them right, and also they help me in sentence correction. So when I am doing my practice or revision for sentence correction, I will definitely look at these questions also because they help me in that area as well. Question 47 to 49, the question of flats I am sure would have been easy for most of you and most of you would have been able to solve them. Okay. I'm not spending too much time. Easy set. Hopefully all of you have got that right. Question 50 to 52 was what the RZ said, which I found difficult. It is difficult because I am not comfortable with these kind of passages, so I did not attempt this passage. After the paper, when I went through the passage, I was very happy I did not attempt it because it took me a huge amount of time to understand and to answer the question. So while in the recording you might find that I have been able to give the answer reasonably fast, the reality is it was a huge effort for me to understand and to answer these questions. And definitely not the questions, or this passage is definitely not the one which I will attempt in a paper. Okay. Next we had the LR set again, which was not difficult and which was easy, and as if you look at the question, you realize that the date is not required, so one piece of information is there which is useless and you need not be worried about it. So out of the 3 LR sets, to me these are the 2 LR sets which should have been attempted. If you leave the first one, 40 to 42, if you leave this, it is not a huge issue as such. Okay. Next we had the RC passage on education, again an easy to read passage, easy to answer questions, there would not have been any difficulty out here. So when I am looking at this paper, I will say 2 RC passages, in this case 7 questions, 2 LR passages, 2 LR sets, which in this case is 6 questions. Out of these RC questions, 10 RC questions and 9, out of these 19 questions, about 16 questions, 7 plus 6, 13 questions should have been or could have been attempted. Now it is possible that some of you might be faster and will be able to do all 3 LR or all 3 RC, that's perfectly fine, but I am saying on average, I would expect the students to attempt definitely passage 1 and 3, which is the corruption passage, and the education passage. And in terms of LR, I am saying these two could have been attempted by most of us. So 7 plus 6, 13 questions were possible out here. Okay. And after the last RC passage, the last two questions were sentence correction. These are always, for me, these are always difficult. I will never call a sentence correction question easy, because my way is, first of all, I don't know grammar. Second, all I try to do is every question and every statement if I'm 100% sure that there's an error, I eliminate a choice based on that. So for me, it is only an elimination based thing, not a something which will help me get to the answer or based on knowledge. Hence, I will always have an issue with this. Okay, so these will always be difficult, and I will always revise. So all sentence correction questions and all word usage questions, I will always revise all of them. Every week I'll go through all the questions which I have seen so far. So out here, when I look at the paper overall, I would say this was an easier section as compared to the quant section. So VLR was slightly easier as compared to quant, and it was easier because you can comfortably attempt two passages. You can comfortably attempt 2 LR questions, and out of the 11 verbal questions, even if I say you don't attempt these 2 plus 2, 4 questions, and maybe you leave out of the 7 another 1 or 2, so about 5 to 6 questions were possible here also. So 7, 6, 13 and 5, 18, so about 17 to 18 questions should have been a decent attempt in this paper. Okay. My suggestion to you would be that you do this exercise for every paper, identify the questions to revise and make sure you revise them on a regular basis. Thank you and all the best.